Good evening, welcome to the Buck Stops here. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program this evening, Arvind Kejriwal's great Delhi Darbar goes awry when he's almost stampeded by people who want him to solve their problems. This at a time when the new Chief Minister of Delhi continues to draw flak for his plan to waive the pending electricity bills of defaulters. Also on the program, the new Environment Minister Veerappa Moily in an exclusive interview on why he is not in a hurry despite clearing projects worth 1 lakh crore rupees in less than a month. But here's our top story. Political masterpiece or a recipe for disaster. Arvind Kejriwal may have the pulse of people in Delhi, but does he know how to govern? This on a day when a grand Janta Darbar of his almost literally came crashing down. This comes at a time when his political opponents have slammed his plan to waive the bill of Delhi's electricity defaulters who joined his struggle a year ago.
Aapka CM at his Janta Darbar. Thousands turned up hoping to get an audience with their CM.
It was supposed to be a Janta Darbar, but chaos has taken over outside Delhi Secretariat. These visuals telling of the amount of crowd which has come outside Delhi Secretariat to meet the CM. The situation went on to a point where the CM has now been taken away. On your screens right now, people still piling up, getting on top of barricades to try and get their word out to the CM. As far as I can see at this point, I only see a sea of people who have come in here trying to get their word across to the CM. Not successful so far.
हम जनता के बीच में दोबारा अदालत लगाएंगे, दोबारा जनता के बीच में आएंगे, दोबारा जनता की शिकायतें सुनेंगे, पूरी व्यवस्था के साथ सुनेंगे.
The mismanagement at the Secretariat gave the opposition ammunition to criticize the government and called it a populist move.
जो व्यवस्था पहले बनी हुई है उन्हीं को चुस्त दुरुस्त भ्रष्टाचार रहित करिए, नहीं तो जनता को ऐसे ही समस्याओं का सामना करना पड़ेगा.
The BJP was equally quick to slam the exemption announced by Kejriwal yesterday for people who had defaulted on electricity bills and withdrawal of cases against those booked for power theft since March 23rd last year. This was when Arvind Kejriwal had launched the Aadmi Party campaign against power companies in the capital.
Sheer bad governance, I would say it is just like spreading anarchy in the society through the government mechanism.
The harsh BJP criticism, it seems, prompted a rethink.
तो 23 मार्च के बाद से जिन लोगों ने बिजली के बिल देना बंद कर दिए और अभी तक नहीं दे रहे, उनको हम आंदोलन का हिस्सा मानेंगे और उसका हम अगर उनके ऊपर बिजली के चोरी के केसेस हैं तो वो बातचीत करके उसको माफ करवाएंगे.
The regulator reacted cautiously to the move which Kejriwal now says is under consideration. DERC chairperson P. Sudhakar said, and I quote, "I will not comment on the legal aspect." Officials said that for nearly 45 lakh connections in the city under 3 power distribution companies, an estimated 10,000 to 12,000 consumers have been defaulting on electricity dues continuously since March last year. In New Delhi, Sonal Mehrotra, NDTV.
Well, that was the scene in the national capital today. Thousands of people out to meet the Chief Minister. It became absolutely chaotic, and most of those people, almost all, returned with not much of their work done at all. Will there be more structure in the future? Well, with an eye on the forthcoming general elections, the Aadmi Party has gotten down to business outside Delhi as well. In Bangalore, there was a membership drive. This on a day when Rahul Gandhi reached out to the student community in the city.
So if there's one thing that you would like to see in the Congress manifesto?
Palace Grounds in Bangalore, a high-profile location in the heart of the city where Rahul Gandhi landed in style to meet young students waiting for an interaction with him. Most of them first-time voters. The Press Club, on the other hand, a modest venue which charges none or minimal fee for events, had enthusiasts seeking forms for enrollment. The Aadmi Party began its membership drive in a formal way in Bangalore. The audience for the latter, mostly youth too. Karnataka, especially Bangalore, is an interesting turf for political parties because surveys reflect that people here are politically very aware. The BJP has a strong hold here as opposed to any other state in the south. The state has voted for the Congress this time, and after Delhi, it seems that Bangalore city has the highest number of members for the Aadmi party, reaching almost 1 lakh already. Aishwarya, a student of political science from Bangalore, was among the 250 students to meet Rahul Gandhi. She will be voting for the first time this general election, and she says a face-to-face with leaders is useful in many ways, even looking forward to be meeting leaders like Narendra Modi or Arvind Kejriwal too.
Politics in India, as we see, I mean, with the RTI, with the AAP party coming in, it's actually going under a revolutionary stage, you know. So for a party to actually come down to its grassroots level and opening its manifesto for the public, I think is a great thing.
We've unleashed, using the RTI, using Panchayati Raj, using technology, we've unleashed aspirations of youngsters. Using your energy, I think we can actually change this country.
Some other youth from Bangalore want to participate in the election process itself, like Janki, an alumni of the IIT Bombay and a software professional, currently has taken a sabbatical for a year to support the Aadmi party ahead of elections.
I wanted to take a break and contribute to the country in a slightly different area. And this is such a brilliant movement. I think B. Balakrishnan said this is one of the best startups in the country by an IIT. And this is a brilliant movement to be part of, which is why I decided to join it.
Several students say it wasn't, after all, such an interactive session. However, it was a platform for them to make a point straight to Rahul Gandhi. The youth, as well as other voters from different walks of life in Bangalore, are getting very familiar ahead of the Lok Sabha elections to such political meetings, not just by first-time politicians, but also by seasoned ones. Whether it is a genuine attempt to take their suggestions and implement it in their manifesto and governance, or whether it's a political stunt ahead of the elections, is something that they're more curious to know sooner or later. Radhika Iyer with Nazir Sheikh in Bangalore, NDTV.
All right, so a look at the Aadmi party and the Congress reaching out to potential voters or voters in that city. But let's return to our analysis, our look at the Aadmi party. Somebody in that story you just saw referred to it as being a brilliant startup. But now that it has started up, does it really know what to do? Joining us to debate this at a time when there's been a fair amount of chaos linked to some of the efforts made by Arvind Kejriwal to reach out to the Aadmi in Delhi and confusion about some of his policies. Raghav Chadha, a member of the Aadmi party, Pinky Anand, spokesperson of the BJP, and Ragini Naik, spokesperson of the Delhi Congress. Raghav, to you first. Arvind Kejriwal is seen as some sort of a messiah for thousands of people who actually landed up outside the Secretariat today. But at the end of the day, beyond a point, he cannot be a messiah. He's a human being, and as much as he chooses to defy the system, he has to work within it. Is that a challenge or a problem for him?
Well, that's not a challenge. I think it's a sign of the Indian democracy and the political establishment which has been ignoring the common man for far too long. It is a sign that the common man needs to be in touch with the governance system. And this is precisely what he said, that I could not, the arrangements were not that good. We had anticipated only 500, 700 people, but people in thousands turned up. So probably next time whenever such darbar happens, the arrangements would be better. But all I can say is the common man has been ignored, and the Aadmi party, with its very revolutionary style of doing politics, is trying to change this and trying to in its own governance, trying to make sure that the common man's voice is heard. So I think it's just a mechanism which would enhance the entire system and the functioning of the system.
Ragini Naik, it is an interesting point, because it's not too often that in the past, whichever government may have been in power in Delhi, that you've seen thousands of people descend to meet the Chief Minister and say, look, please help us. So there may be chaos, it may be an immature style of functioning is what critics say, but you can't deny the fact that people see Kejriwal as some sort of a messiah. They expect him to solve their problems.
You see, the collapse of the Janta Darbar today, Vishnu, is an explicit manifestation of the inexperience and incompetence of today's government in Delhi and its administration. I think even a naive person would understand that if the government is actually publicizing for a Janata Darbar for the last few days, and even if 100 people per constituency in Delhi are impacted by it, there would be 7,000 people there to gathered there for the redressal of their grievances. To say that being the chief minister, I was unable to anticipate that these number of people might turn up is only an excuse. I would also say that Arvind Kejriwal and his party needs to have a relook at the definition of participatory democracy.
Is this not participatory democracy?
Way of meeting,
Ragini,
of course
is this,
it is. Of course it is.
It may be completely chaotic, but is this
Vishnu,
not participatory?
But Vishnu, if it is anarchic and chaotic, do you think any substantial solution is going to come out? Is it only a gimmick, or is it only playing to the galleries with a short-term goal towards Lok Sabha, or is it a way to run a sustainable government for 5 years is the larger question which needs to be answered.
Okay.
Also with respect to the, one more small little point that I want to make. Yeah. In the history of Indian politics, we have seen many governments giving loan waivers, giving tax redemption, giving subsidies, even distributing freebies to people. But I guess this is the first time that a chief minister has taken a decision to exempt 13,000 defaulters on the ground that they were supporters of the political party to which he belongs.
I wanted to put that question to Raghav because that really is the thrust
it up as
of our
civil
debate.
Disobedience movement.
So Raghav, yesterday he said one thing, today he said something else. Today he said that he's analysing whether that's possible. So was there some sort of reality check on Arvind Kejriwal when someone possibly from the DARC came and said that, look, you can't do this, there's a particular law, there's a particular functioning?
Yeah. See, before I answer to your question, I would like to respond to Ragini ji. She said that, I mean, it's extremely sad that she says that the interaction between the common man and the government is playing to the galleries. I mean, I think it's a form of participatory democracy. It's an effort that is being made by the government to strike a conversation, to understand the needs and the problems of the common man, and then provide an appropriate solution. I think it should be a welcome measure. Number two, as far as the electricity, the waiver of these power bills is concerned, as we had, there are two answers to this. Number one is the political answer. The political party before coming to power, while fighting the elections, had made a certain promise, did a small andolan, which was done only because the power bills and the power bills and the water was a hard pressing issue for the common man. This is precisely why it was done. The technical answer of this is that the power companies have been fudging their accounts. There are gross irregularities. The common man has been charged with exorbitant amount of
but the audit is not over as yet.
No, so the audit is not over. The point is that the people participated in this andolan, and it's a well targeted measure. We should understand it's a well targeted measure. Only people like you and me. No, but the point is,
you vote for me, I'll ensure that you don't have to.
No. See, people like you and me remain a defaulter. I'm saying people like you and me are not defaulters, but the person who is a defaulter,
supporters of the Aadmi party.
Let's understand who is a defaulter. The person who is actually aggrieved, who has actually suffered, is the defaulter. People like you and me still paid our electricity bills, but the person.
So you make a distinction over there.
Vishnu.
Pinky, do you want to come in over here? Because the distinction they're making is that there are aggrieved people with genuine grouses whose electricity should have remained. So the Aam Aadmi party seems to be helping them. That's what they're saying. People who've been wronged.
I'm amazed. I mean, you know, when you talk about a government which has come into power, and the first instance you talk is of the Janta Adalat, which is, I think that the difference, and the Aam Aadmi party possibly doesn't seem to understand the difference between a political movement and a social movement and of governance. They are in a position of governance today and not of having Janta Adalats, which was a cause that they were doing prior to the action of the government coming into being. The government works not only through the chief minister and the ministers, it works through your entire system of bureaucracy, and you know, grievances can be redressed. Therefore, this concept of having Janta Adalats, whether it's 7,000 people or 10,000 people, and the logical chaos which obviously happened in these circumstances, is actually a pathetic state of affairs. On the question of electricity, I am absolutely astounded. Can you have reward for not paying or being defaulting? There is currently a position where the companies are being audited in pursuance of orders passed by the High Court, and that process is on. There may be genuine grievances, there may not be genuine grievances, but is it open to the minister or the chief minister to waive off electricity dues of 13,000 subscribers in violation of the Electricity Act, without any power, without any authority, without any adjudication, simply to say because they had participated in a social movement prior to the elections, they should be rewarded?
Okay, so Raghav has an answer to that. Let's listen
on the ground that they may be possible
Vishnu, I just
genuine...
want to add
Ragini, I'll come to you next. Let Raghav answer that.
I have a question for Pinky ji.
Just, I wanted to add something.
No, Ragini, I'll come to you next. Let him make his point, you're next.
Yeah, didn't the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister last year waived off the same power bills for about, I think, about 50,000 consumers? Please correct me if I'm wrong. He did the same thing because he thought that a particular section of society is oppressed and is aggrieved because of such higher power bills, and he did the same thing. This is precisely what we are doing. People like you and me probably would not feel this pinch, but the common man who has been billed for the power which hasn't been consumed, who has been billed at an exorbitantly high rate, who has been billed precisely because of the undue profits made by these Bijli companies, he would feel the heat and he would feel the respite now.
And on top of that, Arvind Kejriwal has made it very clear that he is going to give this reprieve to people, only to those people who have participated in his so-called Bijli Andolan. Now, one question that I want to pose here is that if certain people, now Aam Aadmi Party has come a long way from being protesters to administrators, but now if activists and workers of other parties also want to hold such civil disobedience movement and such Bijli Andolan, would Arvind Kejriwal take a similar stand for those people as well who are going to act against his government? Because if his answer is no, then his act is a blatantly biased act on the one hand, and on the other a blatantly irresponsible act.
And the government is completely ignorant towards them, one should take such action.
Because the DISCOMs till date do not know where the
All right, one moment, Ragini. Pinky wants to come in. Pinky, go ahead.
And on the other hand,
Pinky Anand, go ahead. Yes.
There is another burden. Why should
Ragini, one moment. You made your point. Let Pinky just make a last point. It's a very short debate this evening.
I have a simple proposition,
Pinky, go ahead. Yes.
Raghav, the short issue and the short answer to your question might possibly be that you cannot possibly reward people for participating in an Andolan to put a government into place. What may be a social movement cannot be rewarded by waiving off electricity bills of amounts which are due from people without any issue.
But ma'am, that was the very same thing that your Chief Minister did, and it was a populist measure because he did this right before fighting the elections.
Was it part? Let us... Raghav,
no, please,
the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh didn't waive off for being part of an Andolan movement. If you waive off electricity bills, that is separate from
the logic behind giving this is that somebody is agreed.
Also needs to be
March
checked.
23rd,
Mr. Arvind Kejriwal himself
Madhya Pradesh, there were certain aggrieved people,
and was cutting electricity wires. What kind of an Andolan was that?
These are not aggrieved people.
These are
people who participated in an Andolan.
Mahatma Gandhi did civil obedience against a
Why don't you put the entire
not
electricity
against
act
an
into cold
elected
storage
democratic
and do
government?
exactly as you wish?
All right, okay, all right, okay.
Clear.
Question, to be honest with you.
All right. We can keep fighting over here, but it's great absolutely to see the BJP and the Congress absolutely on the same side. It seems that the Aam Aadmi Party, I don't know, unified other political formations to a certain extent. But I would like to thank all of you very much for joining us.
You can't say it's wrong to be right, Vishnu.
Okay, fair enough. We'll leave it over there. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.